Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. All the stories told on this show are either fabricated, alleged, or didn't happen at all and shouldn't be used in the court of law. We hope. Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, Corey David, and I am so happy to have our guest with us today. He's the sweetest man, and it's always a really pleasure to see him, man. Man. So let's welcome Graham K to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, folks out there in internet land. Good to be here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dad, if this was a familiar face for you, it's the guy that came for 2 innings of a baseball game last summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was. This is when you had to get a COVID test last summer to fly, and I thought it was like New York. You could just walk into any place and get one.
Yeah, they just have them on the sidewalk.
Yeah. And you couldn't.
You can pull some out of a trash can.
Yeah,
I know it's used, but I mean,
you can reuse them. Just put it in your nose.
Yeah. What if you just found a positive one?
Yeah.
And you're like, it wipes itself out, and then you just infect yourself with somebody else's
You just wipe it on your shirt.
Nose strip. Oh, that'd be fucking terrible. But yeah, so you came you basically had to go get tested, which was funny that you came to a baseball game and you're like, oh, I gotta go get tested after this. So you're like, I'm gonna go around a big crowd of people.
And
then go get tested to get out of the state.
Yeah, I realized that I had screwed myself, and so I realized in the baseball game I had to leave, or I wouldn't be able to fly. And so I left the baseball game after 2 innings. I got one of those e-bikes, Lime bikes. And it was way in the suburbs.
So you had to go on a 10-mile bike ride to go get tested?
And it was drive-through.
So you're on this bike.
I'm on this bike. It's drive-through. And then I'm on a bike, and there's a big, it's like a Walgreens drive-through window, and there is a line out the parking lot to get the test done. And I'm waiting in the sun on this bike in a line of cars to do the drive-through. And then I get there, and they're like, we don't have your name on file. I'm like, what? I guess I didn't at the baseball game. I was distracted. There was a pop fly, and I didn't hit send or on the form. So I didn't have a reservation.
So
and so they were like, you can't get one. And then I was like, okay, I don't know what to do now. And then my phone died, and I didn't know how to get back.
So it turned into a fucking great day.
I didn't. I was like,
well, at least you got a couple. Like I said, you got an hour or so in of America's Pastime.
Yeah, America's Pastime. And then
I got to meet my dad.
I got to meet your dad. Nice man. How's it going? And then I looked for the tall buildings because I knew I was staying downtown, and I biked towards the tall buildings.
That's fair. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a reasonable assessment. You're a pretty smart guy.
I guess. I think a smart guy wouldn't have found themselves.
I don't think the city's over the mountains.
Yeah.
I didn't cross those to get here.
I've crossed the Continental Divide. I have COVID.
Are there tests over here?
Yeah. And anyway, so I forget what I ended up doing. I think I ended up I found a place. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. and go to a place at 7 a.m. and pay $200, and I eventually was able to go on the plane. But it was real poop show.
Great experience.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited because I just watched your new special.
Oh,
that's available on YouTube, and it's great. I wasn't trying to blow smoke up your ass. I really enjoyed watching it.
I appreciate it.
I love your delivery style so much, and your jokes are just I like your performance is fantastic. So, what's the name of the special?
The name is Graham K. That's me. GRAHAMKAY. Live in a bowling alley, and it's available. I filmed the special in a bowling alley in Brooklyn, and it is available for free on YouTube. I self-produced it myself. I spent thousands of dollars doing it, but I did get I got people from HBO to film it and direct it, and they did me favors. But anyway, long story short is I need you to watch it because I spent way too much money doing it. So please watch it. Tell your friends. Graham K. Live in a bowling alley. Came out a week ago.
Yeah, well, what's the backstory behind why you did it there? Because I thought it was very cool that the room itself looks very very fun, but it's a smaller a smaller room, right? What was the capacity?
Yeah, it's about just under 100 people.
Right. Okay. So a monster theater or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it helped a lot. It just had this kind of you were just sitting in the room with them kind of
exactly.
feel watching it on TV.
Yeah. Thanks. One of my favorite specials of all time is Zach Galifianakis' live live at the Purple Green Onion or whatever it's called, and he did that in San Francisco at a similar size place, 100 people, and it just felt like you were in the room while you were watching it, and I wanted to sort of recreate that vibe. You know, it's like very, you know, I love that he had a beer on stage. I love that he was like, the cameras were tight. You could see the audience. You just felt like it was like in a cafe. And and that's the kind of comedy shows I love, and so that's what I tried to recreate. And I think we did that.
Yeah, where it feels a little bit more casual,
yeah,
and less like this big theatrical production kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a theater act, so that helps.
I was gonna say you've done some theaters.
I've done a lot of theaters.
They're not there for you.
They're not. No, I opened. Well,
you're like, I'm just the nice guy that they throw up in the middle just to kill some time.
Yeah. I opened for Nate Bargatze on the road. If you don't know who that is, he's like a famous comedian, and he sells out, 3,000 seat theaters. We do like 2 shows a night. We are on like private jets kind of tour. We're on like a tour bus a lot of the time, and that's a different life. And then my shows are much more like, economy class, zone 9 plane ride.
It's more like jazz, more heroin involved.
Yeah. And then
less wholesome.
And then middle seat. And then middle seat
plane.
Comedy tour. That's what I should call my next tour.
I couldn't afford the upgrade to get one of to pick my own. So
I always friggin' check in too late online, and it's all these Zoomers get all my all the window and aisles, and I'm like, I'm 6'4", and they always see me lumbering down the aisle, and they're like, I hope he's not here. And I'm like, I am.
Today's your unlucky day.
By the way, I get both of these armrests.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to fall asleep, and if you're in the window, too bad if you have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to wrestle me for it.
Mm-hmm. And what I do is I have a neck pillow that I can't use for my neck because my head goes above the backrest.
Okay.
And so I put the neck pillow, I use it as lumbar support.
Oh, that's smart.
And then I recline all the way, and then I put my feet forward, and my feet go underneath the seat in front of me and out the front and in between the other person's feet.
You really are a burden.
Yes, I am.
As you're describing all of this, I know you, and if I saw you walking through the plane aisle, I'm like, oh, it's Graham. I hope he's not sitting next to me, but hey, good to see you.
My shoulder will be over your shoulder. I am sorry.
It's all right. You can lean on me if you need to go to sleep. So plug your social media stuff up top so people know where to find you.
Oh, yeah, you can find me. Please follow me on Instagram. I am at Mr. Graham K. MrGraham Graham like the cracker, K-A-Y. Just find me follow me on YouTube, watch my special, follow me on Instagram. That's all I care about. Uh-huh. I also have a podcast about autism awareness. My brother has autism. My co-host's son is nonverbal, and we just talk about that. So if you have that in your life, if you are like the 5% of the people listening that have it in your life, maybe give that a listen. You might enjoy it. Yeah. It's called Autastic.
Oh, that's a fun title.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's silly. Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I didn't realize that was the premise of the show.
Yeah. I've been doing that for about 5 years. I never plug it.
Yeah, well, here we are.
Never plug it. But sometimes people will come to my shows, and they'll say, I've been listening for 5 years. You've helped me through some tough times. And then I'll cry, and then I have to continue to sell merch after the show. And people are like, what did that lady say to that man?
Yeah, you can dry your tears with this T-shirt.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you're not familiar with the show, typically what we do is we're going to hear about some criminal activity from Graham himself, something that's happened in his past, or maybe even maybe if it's a crime he's trying to hatch, something down the road while he's in Colorado. Uh-huh. But before that, we just
Fort Knox taking it down.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got a plan.
Yeah.
If you want to walk me through the strategy, I'm down. You did agree to... Did you steal any of the creamers from the diner like you said you were going to?
I did, but I drank them before I got to the car.
You drank all of the loot?
Yeah.
You're a bad partner.
I tell you what, you got the right guy on the show because I'm the bad boy of comedy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was the bad boy of Ontario.
Yeah. Okay. I smoked one cigarette last night. I had a couple wobbly pops after the show. And when I do that, I tend to have a cigarette or two.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm the bad boy of comedy. And I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. Mm-hmm. It's good for podcasts. Every podcast, I should smoke a dart. We call them darts in Canada. Rip a dart. Do a pod,
Yeah, I should just toss a pack of American Spirits on the table for people, just for the audio quality.
Yeah, for the audio. Get what's it called? SMR.
Something myalgia.
No, it's like when you like listen to. It's like people. It's like to like.
Oh, is that this thing?
No, it's like it'll be like this. You can find it on YouTube. It's like nice sounds that are soothing. So you can like listen to like on YouTube. You can find like 2 hours of someone cutting construction paper. People, you know that sound?
Yeah, but my brain immediately went to like a paper cut. I was like, I think that'd be traumatic for me.
Oh no.
I was like, no, it's so soothing. That's what you fall asleep to.
Yeah.
Oh.
Me just going.
Yeah, if you could just record that sound for me, that would probably put me down. So before we hear about Graham's story, we're just going to read some dumb crimes that we found on the internet, just to have some fun with this, because the whole point of this show is that even if your crime isn't terribly heinous, we all just do dumb shit sometimes, and it's totally fine. These people have done some really dumb stuff.
I killed a prostitute, and I watched the light leave her eyes.
Wow, way to give it away up top. All of the surprise is gone.
Just kidding.
That is actually not even the worst thing that I would have heard on this show.
Oh, my God.
So, postal carrier indicted for cocaine distribution stemming from her official position.
Official position?
Yeah, so the postal carrier was not only delivering mail and coupons and Chinese menus, she was stashing away sweet little nose candy for some people, and throw that little red flag up, and you're like, hey, that means the drug deal's done.
That's great.
I like that there's an indication there, because sometimes you're like you're hanging out with a drug dealer, you got to like call the guy, you got to like wait outside, and you're like, this feels suspicious.
And then they hang out with you, and you're like, I don't want to hang out with you. You're a drug dealer.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't want to make small talk. You just have something that I need.
You're sketchy.
Yeah.
I'm normal.
It's like, I don't want to... Yeah, I'm the one that's well-adjusted here.
I'm normal.
The last time I saw my drug dealer, he was giving me yoga tips because he was out of Molly.
Oh,
he was
really?
just like, well, I was like, dude, I could really use a little Molly. Like, I need a boost. He's like, we should do some twists. And I was like, this is very practical advice, but this is not why I'm here.
No.
Be like going to a core power yoga studio and looking for drugs.
It's his, it's his, he's just doing his, like, repenting when you go through the program and you have
it's like now
he still takes the calls, but he tells you to do yoga.
Yeah, now he's like actively trying to undo all the harm that he's done.
Yeah,
I can't bring the kids back, but I can help the future generations.
No. I am not going to give you your money back also.
Yeah, that's
I will keep the money. But,
you can just Venmo me back, Doug. Just Venmo me.
Yeah.
It's the one that has the mushroom next to it, Very not shady at all. Yeah, nobody suspects that. So that's the thing. I like that this person was utilizing her position that she's already going door to door, right? She doesn't have. She's already in a government uniform. Mm-hmm. It's a great cover. So I don't know if like maybe we'll read a little bit more, but I'm kind of wondering if like maybe she dropped off the blow to the wrong place, and somebody was like, some kid was just going to get the mail for his dad, like, go get the newspaper, son. It's time for you to be able to read the sports section.
Yeah.
And then he gets a little Daryl Strawberry in a fucking tiny Ziploc bag.
Good reference. It was Daryl Strawberry, and then there was they call Andre Dawson or something. He played for the Expos. He's like he ended up being a Hall of Famer. And he played in the 80s, and he would, like, slide into third base, and his, like, cocaine vials would fall out.
What?
Yeah.
He just had them in his pocket. He didn't even have... Just keep it in the locker room.
Well, he probably was doing bumps on there's no cameras back then. He's
that's true.
Doing bumps in the dugout to keep him even.
If everybody's just huffing pine tar, I don't see what's wrong with a little, like, methamphetamine, some cocaine.
You're up.
Yeah.
I honestly wonder if it would help. I think obviously long term, I can't imagine jogging, like doing cocaine. I've dabbled in my life. It's probably been about a year, but I can't imagine.
Long time. Yeah, I've learned the error of my ways. I'm a year removed.
Look, I just can't imagine jogging and doing sports, but I imagine.
It's not a good idea. Mostly because of the dehydration.
Yeah.
It really has nothing to do with the cocaine's ability level. You just got to drink a lot of water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm back on.
So it's just comboing it. If you want to really win, just put a little cocaine in your water, like an energy tablet, like I just gave you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get some B12 in there. If you make it a strawberry lemonade, then you don't even taste the grittiness or that like cokey flavor.
So cocaine is good.
It's so good for you. Doctors used to use it.
So pissed off. I haven't. I think my partying day, my like hardcore partying days are over. Getting up there, I want to take care of the ticker, and but when before I did it, I was traveling in Central America, and I was like 22, and I was like, I don't do hard drugs. Mm-hmm.
Made a stand.
I was still in that phase, and there was
did
like,
you draw X's on your hands too, like a scene kid?
I wasn't that stupid. But if you have X's on your hands, you may not be an idiot now, but you were an idiot. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so these Australian guys were coming up from Colombia, and we were like at some youth hostel in like Costa Rica, and they were like, "We have good Colombian cocaine. Do you want some?" And I was like, "I don't do hardcore drugs."
Meanwhile, it's like the only opportunity you've probably ever had in your life to
Yes.
actually have great cocaine.
Yes. Yes.
Everything else you've ever
Yes.
done in your life is trash.
I'm not joking. 6 months after that time, I had moved to New York. I was interning at Vice magazine, and I was snorting gasoline cocaine in every bathroom in the Lower East Side of New York, going, "Why didn't I try it?"
Yeah, because then at least you would have developed a taste for it. Like, oh no, I only can do the good stuff now. You're like, no, I just want to be a part of it. You enjoyed the camaraderie more than the pure cocaine.
That's right.
Yeah, it's really just part of being a team. I just like to be included in things.
Yeah.
I'm a middle child. Just ask me to go to the bathroom. Hey, what are you guys doing in there?
I'm the oldest, but my younger brother has autism, so I'm like an only child who had to take care of somebody.
Yeah, you were absolved of the responsibility of care. But you didn't have anybody necessarily to like hang out with.
Yeah, some people were like, "Do you want to do this?" I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's
someone to talk to.
Yeah, oh my God. Who, me?
Yeah.
So according to court documents, a postal carrier was provided addresses on her postal route who arranged the shipment of packages containing kilograms of cocaine from Puerto Rico to those addresses. Instead of delivering the packages, Prito removed the packages from the mail stream so that the cocaine within them could be distributed by this other person involved. So, I don't know. I've mailed drugs before. It's pretty harmless.
You have?
Yeah.
So scary.
Throw some acid into a birthday card and just call it a day.
I guess acid would be okay. But like cocaine, I feel like there's got to be some sort of sniffing happening.
Well, the dogs will get it for sure. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's one of the things that they're on the lookout for.
Yeah.
But I know people that have mailed weed and they've mailed like mushrooms and stuff.
They don't care anymore, maybe, but like, I mean, just I'm so scared. Like, all the cross-border laws. I don't know.
I suppose, but then I mean, you just don't put your return address on it, or you put on a different one. You know, just make up some name like Esteban Gastanzo or something along those lines.
When you told me that, I was like, why would he put his address on there? Like, I didn't even
just make it very obvious where to find the criminal.
I was like,
it'd be like
no
robbing
way.
a bank and then writing on the wall, "This is my address."
This is why I don't do crimes.
I think about this stuff.
I would be like, well, what if it gets? What if they lose it and they get? I would want it back. And
That's the thing about being raised Mormon, man, is that you just learn how to creatively lie or get away with things.
I see.
Yeah, that's all religion teaches kids, is like how to be really good at getting away with shit.
I grew up in a non-religious household, and I really do like. I mostly follow the rules. And I trust people.
Were there repercussions for like you being honest or telling the truth? Like if you got in trouble for something, you know what I mean?
Of course I got in trouble for something.
Well, the reason I asked was because like what my parents always did was they would lie to us and say, if you tell us the truth, it won't be nearly as bad as if we find out.
I see.
And that never was the case.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it was just better to try to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, next story. Woman charged with kidnapping after allegedly holding Tinder date captive.
What did she do?
We'll find out. But she did say, if you scream ... I'll kill you.
Oh, I think I heard about this. She handcuffed him or something.
So Lauren Dooley, 22, allegedly bound the victim's wrists and ankles with duct tape.
She's pretty cute.
Forced him into her bed
Still
at
young
knife point. Good for her.
She did what?
Forced him into her bed at knife point.
Oh, my God.
She wanted what she... I mean, that's the thing. I would be flattered, in a way. You know, that somebody, like, wants you so bad.
She's not unattractive.
She's
you
not
would
unattractive.
not have to use a knife.
Like, what? She must have,
You
like...
would say, do you just do it? I'd be like, okay.
But actually, this is somebody's kink. That's the thing, is, like, everything that's happening right now. And I wonder if, like, they were role-playing, and then he just decided that he didn't want to do it anymore. And she's like, no, you already said yes. And maybe you forgot the safe word.
Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo.
It's like, I knew we had a safe word, but I just forgot it. Yeah, I mean, again, I would personally be a little taken aback in a good way about this, just because I'm like, wow, somebody wants to hook up with me so bad that they're willing to bind and gag me against my will.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have a say in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in a way, I'm kind of like, that's so sweet.
Men and women are different.
Yeah.
I agree with what you're saying.
I mean, have you ever been duct taped around the ankles and the wrists
No,
for intercourse?
that wouldn't make me happy.
No?
No. I think there's been like I think once somebody did some like light bondage, like where I could like get out. There was one lady in Seattle back in the day, but yeah, I get claustrophobic.
Yeah, you panic.
I don't want to get hurt.
No. I mean, I think that the knife is what really ups the level. Yeah, I think everything else was kind of above board. Duct tape, though, it's kind of tough because that's going to rip when it comes off. But so upon the victim's arrival, Dooley allegedly performed sex acts on him. Sex acts. I like your act. Before binding his wrists and ankles with duct tape, according to documents. The victim found it odd, but consented to it. However, when Lauren produced...
So funny.
Yeah.
All right, well...
Was he going to let this go?
Well, I'll give you one kidney, but not both. We'll draw the line at 2 kidneys.
Yeah, it's like what lengths we're willing to go to be like, I think you're attractive. I think you're cool. I haven't gotten laid in a while. Sure, let's go with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't until no longer consented to staying at the residence when she produced a knife and demanded that he get into her bedroom. It's like, what I don't understand is you've already got him. Why produce the knife? He consented to getting duct taped.
Yeah.
Like, you already got it, hook, line, and sinker.
Did she steal something from him? Here's the thing I don't understand. I don't mean to kink shame, but what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
For God's sakes, sex is good enough.
Yeah.
It's good.
You don't need to fluff it up with a lot of things.
No. What are we doing?
I mean, I think just a woman initiating sexual contact, like sex, is like, that's my kink. I'm like, oh, you like me?
What
that's
are we,
cool.
gay guys? What's going on here? This is exciting.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's fun to like pizzazz it up a little bit. But I'm wondering, like, okay, so she found this guy on Tinder. Like, I wonder how many other people she like tried to do this with. Like, was this the first?
Oh my!
swipe?
Here's the thing. We're men.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you there's 9 other guys out there who are like, well, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
She did this too and did not say anything.
Yeah, they were just like, it's cool. I'm fine. I mean, we're just not going to see each other again.
Yeah, well, she took my wallet, took my kidney, but...
What do you think that you know how like that the hack joke here is always like Tinder profiles are like it's a guy holding a fish or something like that. What if in her bio, like it is her just with a knife?
Just a knife? Hey.
They're like, she's probably into scary movies. I like that. I like a good slasher film.
Take my chances. She's kind of cute.
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder what how heinous a cute girl's Tinder profile would be before she wouldn't get bombarded.
Mm-hmm. Like how like dangerous it would have to look.
Yes. Like like it would a knife, like a dissected cat.
The cat's bones on a necklace.
Yeah.
Like as you scroll down through the profile, you just see the stages of somebody killing a cat.
Yeah. But she's wearing like a cocktail dress in the background. And you're like, well, I'm not a cat. Swipe.
Yeah. Oh shit. All right, that's gonna do it for our news stories for today. So what do you got for us, Grant? Again, so I always preface this with like, it doesn't always have to be something where like a crime that you committed. It's just something where the police were involved, or maybe you didn't get caught, or anything along those lines.
I got caught and I went to jail.
You did?
No, I'm here to tell you about it.
Oh, good for you. I would have never suspected that. You're so wholesome.
Yeah, well,
was there?
I have it in my act that I told last night, but you had to go.
I had to. I was gonna say I had to jet.
I had to jet. I haven't heard that in a while.
I had to jet. I saw your set on Wednesday though.
No, it's fine.
Doesn't sound fine.
It's fine. He says we're friends.
Uh-huh.
No, for God's sakes, don't. Any comedian is completely absolved from not watching more comedy.
Sure.
It's like, do you want to do an extra 45 minutes at the end of your shift.
Yeah, right.
It's like, no.
Yeah, and the show I like going to shows and just being able to like bob and weave, like go into the room, go out of the room.
Love
like,
that.
I went to the last time I actually went to a comedy show was to see Duncan Trussell down at Comedy Works, and it was like a 2.5 hour show, and I had to sit because they didn't do standing room that night.
Yeah.
So we were just stuck in these seats, and like an hour and a half in, I'm just like I just don't want to be here anymore.
And you left.
Yeah,
good for you.
Yeah.
2.5 hours is egregious, Duncan. Nice man, but come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, for my special, there is a man in the front row who is tall. He's like 6'5", and he's wearing a tank top, a wife beater, and
I feel like you're just describing yourself at this point.
Yeah, I'm just worried.
Your nemesis.
I call them tank tops. But anyway, I was like, who's this guy? I thought he was like, some like, super hipster from Bushwick, Brooklyn, and I was like, who is this? He's like I didn't include this on the special, but I called him the Pied Piper of Bushwick, which is like a super hipster part of New York. And anyway, so he apparently, Dave Ross, who's a comic, probably, invited him to come to my taping. He was this guy with the tank top was a comedian from LA, and they were going to stand in the back and bob and weave and go in and out. Yeah. And he just got ushered to the front row and couldn't leave.
Oh,
and
no.
Dave Ross showed up late and drank in the other room, the bar area.
So he didn't even talk to this
He
dude.
played pool and was talking to people, and then he bowled a bit and like, played video games. And this guy's stuck in the front row of some comic he doesn't know.
And this is during the taping?
He's in the front of the taping. He's a comic. And
so all he wants to do is just not be there.
Not be there.
It's not that he doesn't want to watch your special at all. It's just like he's obligated to stay seated the entire time.
He's at work. Comics, we watch comedy every night, so we don't laugh normally. We go, ha, that's funny. Mm-hmm. So in the very front row of my special, there's the biggest man alive going, ha, that's funny.
Come on, you know taping's happening. Can't you just play it up a little bit?
I think after you can try. I do not blame him. I'm pretty sure he tried for 10 minutes and then it just wore off. He forgot, and he was like, he just couldn't move, and he's stuck in the front row.
Just upset.
So if you watch my special, look for that giant guy.
That's a nice little Easter egg.
Yeah.
For everybody to know. Right. All right. So you got arrested. When was this?
So this is like 2010. I was an undocumented worker in New York, and I was bartending at a place, and I was dating this girl, and living this sort of like very 2010 Brooklyn lifestyle. And she
You're having fun. I was gonna say loving the city, or
having truly the greatest time of my life.
A refugee, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it made no sense for me to be there. It was kind of like I was lying to myself that I could get a work visa from working within America. I was trying to get a work visa. I wasn't trying to like marry somebody and do it that way because you get caught and blah blah blah. I don't know, that kind of stuff stressed me out. I actually, at the end of the day, want to do things properly. It's just way less stressful.
It's the way you were raised.
And well, I don't know. You always try and find an angle, and I was living in New York I already had friends, I had a job, and I don't know. And anyway, so I'm dating this girl. We're leaving a bar at 3 a.m. Her friend, the three of us are drinking. Her friend is like a lesbian at the time.
Very Brooklyn.
Yeah, but she was dressed like a boy, and she was like a graffiti artist, and self-proclaimed or whatever.
Yeah.
And so she was like tagging the bathroom of this dive bar, which is fine. The whole bathroom is covered in tags.
Yeah, sure.
And then I was kind of making fun of her because we were like 28 at the time, and I was like, "What are you tagging for? Like, we're almost 30.
What do you think? You're cool?
Yeah.
Just
cool?
Destroying property?
Yeah. Well, I was just like, it's silly. Why?
I don't know. It sounds pretty fun to me.
Writing your little tag. I mean, I understand doing graffiti art and making a piece,
like a mural or something.
Or something, but just going like blah blah blah. It's like, who cares? Anyway.
Yeah.
So we were leaving the bar. She's got like her like fancy paint marker, the kind that like when you press it drips. And I was like, want to see my tag from 9th grade? because that's the last time I tagged. And she tagged an outdoor ATM. It's covered in graffiti on the street. And it's like attached to like this the corner store, a bodega with like the grate pull down, the metal grate.
Yeah.
And I tagged the ATM myself, my stupid grade 9 tag, which was my initials.
The bad boy of Ontario.
Bad boy
Strikes again.
The bad boy.
Yeah. Well, he's got a Pall Mall in the other hand and a Sharpie in one.
Oh, buddy, I was definitely hacking darts that. and then 2 unmarked cars pull up on the curb, and guys get out wearing sweaters and khakis and jeans and attack me from behind.
What?
And start slamming me against the grate. And they pick up her. She's dressed like a boy. And they throw her. She goes like way farther than they think because she's a girl.
She's got hollow bones. Yeah.
And she like hits like a fire hydrant.
Jesus.
And
they just bum rush you. It wasn't even anything you could. I mean, did you see them coming? Or
no.
Did they? Yeah.
No.
So,
and I all of a sudden I look over my shoulder and I still remember his Old Navy sweater, and he like pushed me against the grate, and I like elbowed him. Because you don't know what's going on, you're trying to defend yourself.
Yeah, all of a sudden you just feel like this weight on you, or somebody put their hands on you.
Yeah, and I turn around, I'm like, I'm a big guy. I elbowed him in the side of the head, and then I just got slammed to the ground and handcuffed. And she got handcuffed.
You're like, Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo. Why am I hard? What's wrong with me?
Now, you don't strike me as a guy that's like a fighter.
No, I'm
right?
No.
But have you ever gotten into fights before, like had to defend yourself or whatever?
I have. I got sent to boot camp in high school, and I had gotten to fights there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you actually like learned how to fight or anything, or was it just doing your best?
I learned how to fight. I've probably only been in like 3 fights, but I got in my 3 fights were during those 2 years.
It's gonna be for the Patreon, you and me in the living room.
Oh yeah, two guys who can't fight.
Yeah.
I remember I had like my rowing coach in like grade 11 in Ottawa was like teaching all of us kickboxing because he did kickboxing on the side, and he taught me like how to cover up, how to throw a punch, like one hand on the telephone, one hand boom boom, little combos and whatever. And then he was always like, man, you have actually a naturally very strong punch.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's good.
Nice.
That's
good to know.
And I've sort of been, I haven't fought in like 22 years.
Sure.
And I went to the other like 2 years ago. I went to like one of those video games where you punch the thing and it gives you a score.
Yeah.
And no joke, I was the softest punch in the bar. I was like, it's gone!
It's all about timing with those things,
Yeah,
you know? It doesn't mean that you can't defend yourself against a video game.
I don't know. It kind of broke me.
Yeah, and then the video game took your lunch money.
Yeah,
There's like, get the fuck out of here. You actually owe us more money, and we're going to tell everybody you have a small dick when you leave.
I kind of like my dick went into my body. You know when you get scared and your wiener goes away?
It just goes inside like a turtle.
I don't like going to scary movies because my wiener disappears.
Yeah,
it doesn't disappear, but it
nobody
gets
feels
quite
sexy,
small.
just
No.
like with their eyes half open, waiting for a loud crash sound.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
So you're in this fight. You elbowed this guy in the fucking head. Did it stun him like at all, or was there a couple people on you?
I don't think it stunned him. I probably barely. I think I glanced off his Cro-Magnon dome,
Yeah.
and then I do this in the act. In my act, I say that I was caught peeing outside because it's just quicker.
Mm-hmm. Instead of trying to describe a Sharpie in an ATM.
It's easier because I would rather just say in the joke that I went to jail, but people obviously want to know why I went to jail.
Right.
But I don't want to get into this whole graffiti story, and I want them to know that it was something innocuous. So I just say peeing outside because it's the same level of
it's easier. Yeah,
stupidness.
I guess it's a dumb reason to have somebody spear tackle you on a fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, but I don't even say spear tackle. I just say because it was Mayor Bloomberg broken window laws where they actually got in trouble for having quotas, and the cops had to get as many a certain amount of arrests, or their local precinct would be like, you are gonna. There was a recording that one cop did, a whistleblower, and he was like, you are gonna go to. You're gonna go work at McDonald's if you don't get these, get arrests up. It's like why Mayor Bloomberg, Mike Bloomberg tried to be the Democratic nominee for the presidential election, like in 2016, and then they were like, "Yeah, you just arrested black people."
Yeah, just for being black.
Yeah.
That's the crime. Yeah, so
and-
they're just looking for like old ladies jaywalking, and they're like, "Gotta write this up," and then they just aggressively.
But
handle.
they can't do that, old ladies jaywalking, because it's bad press. But they can arrest as many black teens or drunk hipsters as they can. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Which is, I'm not trying to equate my experience to like what black people.
No, your
went through,
hardships are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. But anyway, bad boy.
I just want to know your scene.
Yeah. And anyway, so I go. You go to J. Like we spent the first night in like a local jail cell of like the local little precinct.
Sure.
It's like a 1-room cell.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough room. They weren't expecting her to be a woman, and so I was with a heroin addict in the cell, and then they handcuffed her on a chair to the other side of the cell. And we slept the night like that.
Oh, that's so uncomfortable. So, I mean, what was your interaction like with this dude in the cell?
I mean, it's like 4 or 5 in the morning. By the time you process, you're drunk. And I just sort of passed out on like this bench. And when I woke up at like 8 a.m., there was a heroin addict like using my my calves as a pillow.
I mean, they are soft.
Yeah, they are.
They're
nice.
supple, yeah.
I got good calves.
Those just look like a neck pillow. Just wrap those boa constrictors around me, and I'll pass out for an hour.
And anyway, they woke, like, before he went to bed, another like cop came in and was like, "Look, if you guys have any drugs on you, just go to the bathroom, flush down the toilet. I know this is bullshit." And like, they're trying to do good cop, bad cop. I think they do it to make you docile. And we woke up the next morning, and then the 3 of us were literally in a chain gang. We went on like a bus, like a van, into like the bigger jail.
What?
And the cops in the front were arguing. One guy was like, "This is the most amateur organization I've ever been a part of. When I served in Iraq, I thought I was sold that this was going to be a paramilitary organization, and it's not."
So this guy wanted to be like more aggressive, or he didn't?
This is the kind of psychopath that wants to become a cop.
He's like, no, if I see somebody drawing on an ATM, that's shoot on sight.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Isn't that the fun part?
Us against the enemy. The citizens are the enemy.
So at this point, like, what is the charge itself?
Vandalism and assaulting a police officer.
Okay.
And so I go to the main jail, and then so picture walking into like a giant room with a bunch of cubicles, a big square room, and on 3 of the walls are 2 cells on each wall, so 6 cells. And the 6 cells look at all the cubicles.
Okay.
And in each cell, there's between 10 and 30 people.
Oh, fuck.
And in each cell, there is benches lining the walls, 3 of the walls, and then the bars facing the cubicles with all the police doing cop work.
So it's like they're just surrounded by all the people that they put into the prison?
Yeah, but there's only a couple of them there's only like a couple people just processing or whatever.
I was gonna say that seems like terrible decor. That doesn't, like, why would you want to like be working? In the middle
Well,
of
they're going in and out and they're dealing
yeah.
with them. It's like there's only like 1 or 2 people that are stuck there all day.
Okay.
And then there's 1 metal toilet in the middle of each of those rooms.
In the middle, they couldn't even give you a corner.
No.
Like if you wanted to like back against the wall kind of thing in a very vulnerable position.
They want to see you.
Yeah, damn.
They want to make sure you're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the empty wall without the cells is where you walk, is like the entranceway where you walk in, and it's also where they take your mugshot. And then when you walk in, I did not know this when I walked in, but you know, you're going to be there for days. So everyone has been in that cell has been there for days. So there's like 120 people looking at you because they're bored.
And they're miserable.
They're miserable and they're bored, and this is the only exciting thing that happened in the past 48 hours.
There's a new body in here.
And new people coming in, and then you can heckle them and stuff. So, you know, I get my mugshot.
That's how trauma passes on from generations to generations.
That's right.
You know, it's like, well, it happened to me.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. And so I walk in and get my mugshot, and then one guy goes, everyone's like, you know, it's like, It's a couple whistles, like, ooh.
Because you are attractive, so.
I will, especially back then. I was a real dime piece.
An Ontario 10?
I was an Ontario 10, and I might be an 8 now, but back then I was a snack. and
You're a big dude. That's a whole buffet.
and they one guy goes, "Yo, that white N-word looks like Tom Brady." And then 150 people start laughing and pointing at me.
Yeah, they just got roasted.
I got absolutely roasted.
Boom.
I kind of started laughing because I was like, you got to be like, dude, that's funny.
Yeah, of course.
And then that kind of like, I knew I was going to go in the cells with them, so I couldn't be like, ugh. I like started laughing, and I like looked at them and was like, haha. And then they were like, all right, he's cool.
Yeah.
And then I went into the cell with those guys, and I hung out with those guys for 4 days, because what happened is they call, they take away your cell phone, and then they ask you for a phone number, and then they go, but it's like cell phone times. I don't know.
I don't remember anybody's numbers, right? Yeah.
I just dated a woman for 2 years. I don't know. I can't tell you her phone number.
I don't even know her name.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I just call her nicknames.
Yeah.
Pumpkin, honey.
Yeah. Cell phone times. I can't know my girlfriend's name.
Yeah, it's just in your phone as surprised she called.
Yeah. And lady, sex lady, nice sex lady, kiss kiss.
Nice sex lady too.
Yeah.
It's like because you got to organize them.
No, I don't. I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, sure.
And then so they call. The only number I can remember is my parents' phone number back in Canada. They call that number. My parents were, I guess, like, they like went to Quebec City for a romantic weekend, and my brother was taking care of the dog.
So they're all just like living their life while you are wasting away in a jail cell.
Yes, but they call. This is my lifeline. They call my parents' house. My brother with autism picks up the phone. They go, this is central booking in New York City. Do you know a Graham K? And my brother was like, I don't know, what? And they got confused because he has autism, and then they hung up.
Yeah,
and then
they don't even know, like they don't even know how to deal with it. Like, this guy just is clearly on drugs or something.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is a criminal. We called some sort of flop house. This man's on crank on the other end of the line. Forgot. And so so no one could get me, and I was in jail for 4 days because my brother like messed up the call or whatever.
So you get one shot. You get one shot, and then if your autistic brother is the one that picks up the phone, he wants to help.
He wants to help.
Yeah, he wants to help your brother. But he just didn't have the mechanisms to do it at that time, and they didn't have the patience.
He still does. Yeah, exactly.
Does he? So he's aware that like this like happened, right?
Eventually, I had to explain to him, but I got out, and I eventually saw the judge, and they were like, "Come back for such and such a court date to like get processed," and then I like looked at my voicemail, and there was my brother like, "Hey, a man from Central Park called." That's where they filmed Home Alone 2.
Oh yeah, I remember that line.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
And then so I had to, basically the Brooklyn court system is so backlogged that my case would have gotten thrown out, and I would not have had any kind of record, but I did not really understand that, and I also was an undocumented worker, and I was scared because I knew I wanted to get a work visa.
Yeah, is this like a potential, like, I might get deported situation?
You might, not only that, I might get banned from America.
Yeah.
For like life.
Right.
Or
like
at least 5 years. So, and then that means I can't get a green card. I can't get a work visa. I basically will have to move, because in Canada, you either have to move to America or the UK, especially at that time. If you wanted to really make it in comedy. So I was really like, oh, I guess London won't be so bad.
Yeah, you're starting to weigh your options. Be like, there's worse places to be, I guess. The food's not as good, but I guess I can compromise.
And so I like, Canada is a great place to live. It just doesn't have a great showbiz. There's not enough people for us to have a real showbiz. Mm-hmm. So anyway... so
you see your whole dream just kind of like falling apart.
My whole dream. I've been working at comedy for 5 years at this point.
For fucking drawing on an ATM.
For drawing on an ATM. And I got out of jail. I lost my bartending job because I didn't show up for 2 shifts. Mm-hmm. But luckily, I went in and my boss was a black guy from the Bronx. And I was like, I came with like my hat in hand and I had my whole story line. Like I'm gonna beg this man for my job back. And I got 2 sentences into my big diatribe.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the Heisman, put his hand up and goes, "Oh, you got picked up. It's okay. Happens. Just give me the C-74 form that proves that happened." He knew the name of the form.
Yeah.
And because as a black person, he understands that sometimes you're just walking down the street and the police make you disappear and it's not your fault.
Uh-huh.
And
it's a weird reality to have to deal with. Yeah.
And if I had a white boss, I would not have retained my job. And so I showed him the thing, and funny side note is the form that he's asking for, it shows the cop write down everything that is in your pockets at the time. And so I was going through a very brief period of my life where I was trying to convince women that I had a giant penis. So I was like buying Magnum condoms.
Yeah, just living in that stage of denial and
every
man goes through.
Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, Magnum Man." And so he called me Magnum Man.
Yeah, so Tom Brady, the Magnum Man.
Yeah, he called me Magnum Man. And yeah. So anyway, I was going to do a comedy festival in Scotland, and it would involve travel back and forth, and it was before my court date, so I asked them to speed it up. And even they were like backlogged with murders, and my court date would have got thrown out because by law they have to give you a court date within like 4 months or something like that. Uh-huh. And it would have taken a year. But I asked them to expedite it stupidly because I was going to this stupid comedy festival that I thought was a big break for me.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Oh," like the Brooklyn court system was like, "Oh, Miss Fancy Boy wants to expedite it." So they threw the book at me
because you asked for it to get sped up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they threw the book at me, and
that's why you don't ask for things apparently.
And the woman that got arrested with me, I ended up throwing the book at her too because we were involved in the same thing, and so she's pissed at me, and my public defender, I couldn't afford a lawyer, was like, I've never seen anyone get the book thrown at them like this before. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail now for like hitting a police officer.
Right, because that's like the one that could actually get you some time,
right?
Yeah,
I'm in like big trouble. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to pack up my stuff and run to Canada.
You're just going to make an escape?
I'm not going to go to some Brooklyn prison. I'm not going to go to Rikers Island.
Yeah.
That place is like really, really bad.
That's pretty scary, yeah.
Yeah, like I will die there. I'll get raped there. So I'll have to join a white gang.
This is all happening over what period of time?
Like 4 months.
So this is 4 months of you just kind of like being pretty scared.
Maybe 3 months.
Where like every day you just are like kind of worried about like how this is going to affect the rest of your life.
How it's going to affect the rest of my life. What am I going to do? And my parents don't know, and I'm like, I'm waiting for the court date, and my public my public defender. Their public defenders are not paid very well, but they do it because it looks really good on a resume, and they're usually people from like wealthy backgrounds who can afford to not get paid well and get overworked. And it's basically like a volunteer position. And I was like, I am going to make sure that I'm the forefront. I remember I sent her edible arrangements.
Your friend?
To her desk.
Or the public defender?
The public defender.
Oh, yeah, because you really wanted to butter her
I don't
up.
care about my friend.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
I'm trying to save my life.
Well, my life is her life, my friend's life. So it's like, I'm sending, I'm just.
So you're effectively hitting on your lawyer.
I was a little. I was like, what is not hitting? So I was like, food, not flowers. I don't know.
Flower food.
I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. And she was like, we're working. Anyway, luckily they found a security footage from across the street that showed that the police attacked me. Mm-hmm. So I got off on hitting a police officer, but I still got charged for vandalism, and my thing got expunged after a year. If like my record was stricken, I would not have a police record after a year if I didn't do any bad stuff, which was fine.
Yeah.
And
say I've learned the error of my ways. I'll never commit a crime again.
Right. But then what happened is like flash forward like 8 years. I already have a performing visa. I'm living in LA, and I'm trying to get a green card, which is what you want. Mm-hmm. Green card means you don't have to renew every time. I spent $14,000 on legal fees to get a green card. I got accepted. I got approved. But then Trump got in office while it was being processed.
Oh.
And Trump was like, anyone who's been charged with anything cannot get a green card.
Well, that seems a little harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, usually pretty nice guy. I'm surprised that he actually did that.
Yeah, great guy. Solid. And so they put a hold on my green card processing. My current visa ran out, so I had to move back to Canada. I was actually going. I had to sell all of my stuff on the phone. I was living in LA. I sold my car.
Damn, dude. This is over the course. I mean, at this point, it's still affecting you 8 years later.
Yeah, sold all my furniture.
We don't do a very good job of like, hey, you committed a crime and you did your time and you got your thing absolved. You did it. Like, we don't judge you for that anymore.
Oh, by the way, I did at the time when it happened. The judge made me pay like $800 fine, and that was like a lot of money to me back then. So I paid the fine too.
Yeah, while you're trying to like make it in New York bartending, I mean, it's just an expensive place to live anyway. $800, that's like at least a month's rent, right?
Flash forward 8 years, I'm living with my parents as like a 32-year-old, 33-year-old. No, I think I might have been like 34 back then. 34, living with my parents in Ottawa, waiting for this like in green card limbo, selling everything over the phone. I have no like furniture. I have nothing. All I own is clothes because I had to sell everything. And I'm like trying to, when you comedy, you have to book road gigs 3, 4, 6 months in advance. And so I'm like doing all these like last minute bullshit gigs, like Fallout stuff that I can do in Canada, not making any money. And that took about 4 or 5 months. And then I finally and then I had to like go to the processing office in Montreal. Luckily, Ottawa is only a 2-hour drive from Montreal, and beg, because that's where like the head American consulate is, and beg this like American lady and plead my case. And if I lived in Vancouver, I would have to fly all the way to Montreal, which would have been like thousands of dollars.
Just beg somebody to let you live your life.
Yeah, but luckily I could just drive in a day. And luckily she was a black lady, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, all right.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
You got picked up.
Yeah, picked up. And she was like, stamp my thing, and I got a green card.
Damn.
And then I guess it's okay now. I'm still, my green card, I'm worried that when I have to renew my green card, it'll be a whole thing.
Something's going to come up, right? But, I mean, you don't have to do that for a while? Or is that coming up?
I think it's like 3 or 4 more years.
Okay. Well, got some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you got to do is just make millions of dollars in between now and then and just be set for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just keep doing bowling alley gigs.
Yeah. Watch that special, folks. Watch that special.
Well, damn, man. Like, I had no idea that it was that intense. And it sounds like you went through a pretty rough patch during your life. That was scary. And I'm glad that it's at least worked out this well for you. Like, at this point. So
having a good time.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you're here. You're funny as fuck.
Thanks,
I like
buddy.
spending time with you. And it's okay. Whatever you did, it's all right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I was going to say you're still a good person.
I know I'm a good guy.
Yeah. And then I'm going to try to just trick you into committing a crime with me later. And we'll see if we can get you in more trouble.
Okay.
Yeah. See? It's just for fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Maybe you didn't hear me off the top, but watch that special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you're like, I'll get around to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you fast forwarded at the beginning, definitely go watch that special. It's available on YouTube. It's very funny. Thanks for joining the show, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Got it. See ya.